Alright, welcome back everyone to the next episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Oh, we really need to get our justice up because we're at 3 and we need to get it to 7 in order to actually do to bring Otton to court. But we'll see. We didn't really do that very well because we kind of attended the Latari's ceremony because we kind of felt like it. My main hope is that like I said, the relationship with Octavia Milnitis will pay off in the end, and she'll be able to help us out because she likes us so much. But here we are, 11:43, the last straw. Rumors are running wild in Anazote. People say that a mysterious clandestine society called the Last Straw holds the entirety of the city's seedy underbelly in its clutches, with men and safe houses all over Anazote plotting and scheming against the nobles and rulers of the province. Their leader is a woman, a ruthless criminal by the name of Sophia. She's evaded all attempts at capture. Yeah, where have we heard that name before? It's almost like she hates the entire world. The common people both fear the Last Straw and sympathize with their cause. If the rumors are true, the city finally has someone who will stop at nothing to help the people claim their rights. But who will support the secret organization? And how did the insurgents manage to survive this long? No one in the city knows the answers. Magistrate Alverman must assuage the people's fears once again. The city's mutineers and heretics who call themselves the Last Straw will be caught and executed very soon. And anyone who has given them money and shelter will meet the same fate. The secret chancellery will make sure of that. But even facing a manhunt, the Last Straw still endures. Slowly but surely, the influences of the underground organization is spreading throughout the city. Wow, we have won. We've not made a decision that can increase the wealth of Magra, and we're just at 1. And there's just more discontent. Oh, Sophia. Threats and promises. You're in the middle of ascending the city hall's long, curved marble staircase. A small man beneath the building's towering vault. You were suddenly visited that night by messengers from Magistrate Alverman. They insisted the reason was most urgent. You were already expected upstairs. There's a deafening silence in the lavishly decorated corridors. Your footsteps the only noise you can hear. Finally, you hear the spacious room that is the office of Alverman, a stately official of considerable age. You see him sitting in his comfortable chair of carved wood. He acknowledges your presence with a nod. However, the magistrate is not alone, oh boy. Oh shit. By the window of the office there's a tall Arcanian. The cape of his Imperial Legion covers his shoulders. He is Dorius Otton, the commander of Magra in the flesh. He's not even bothered to turn around and look at you. The magistrate gestures you to formally, beckoning you closer. This just kind of betrays them not looking at me, but... Judge Brante, you have come at last. Sir Otton has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. You see, the commander have learned about a certain litigation being prepared against him in the prefecture. He demanded that an end be put to these machinations at once, and I humbly offered him my assistance. Slowly, Otton turns to you. His eyes are filled with cold contempt. Brante, you again. So you've chosen to oversee this so-called case against me. I don't envy you. I will be brief. I'll not stand idly by in the face of slander and baseless accusations. Give me your word of honor as a nobleman that you will do everything in your power to put a stop to this litigation. Only then will you be free to leave. I will treat any other answer as an insult against my noble lineage, and let it be known that Sir Alverman holds many positions, such as the chairman's seat at the Court of Honor, which means that any insult will be soon followed by a legitimate duel of honor. I'm sure you know full well how others have fared in duels against me. Dude, I'm 20 valor. Otton turns towards the window before you say anything, as if your answer has been heard. Magistrate Alverman watches Otton as you silently with a mysterious smirk. You stand before the two lords of the city, a young man only recently ennobled by the mantle, Any word that leaves your lips now will affect your fate. We don't have enough manipulation to put him at ease. You can retaliate against Otton, which gives us another death. We can see El Vermin's protections, which doesn't. Patronage of the powerful. Fuck. I think I have to accept my third death. Because I can't afford another drop in career justice. Oh my god. If Otton challenges you to a duel, a lesser death is certain. Any attempt to avoid it will only delay the inevitable, so it's best to confront him now. And so, head held high, you place your hand on the hilt of your sword and take a step closer to Otton. Next come the words, your words, echoing loudly in the stunned silence of the city hall. Indeed, you are the judge in charge of Otton's case, and you will see it through to the very end. Your duty and your honor demand that you serve the Empire and enforce its laws, which apply to all its subjects. Yes, Otton will surely defeat you in a sacred duel, but the evidence you have gathered against him will see the light nevertheless. You are far from the only judge ready to challenge even the most powerful nobles of the province in the name of the law, and no matter what, justice will find Otton and strike him down. Otton is stunned by your verbal assault. For a moment he remains motionless by the window, his face an azure mask. Slowly the commander of Magro walks towards you, his heavy, piercing gaze transfixing you. You, a human, dare to threaten me? You calmly meet his eyes in total silence. Then suddenly a grimace of rage splits the Arcanian's face. His sword flashes like lightning. You barely have time to draw your own blade. The clanging of sword cuts through the stunned silence of the city hall. Otton lets out a torrent of strikes in an attempt to overwhelm you. Again and again you barely deflect them. The Arcanian's command of the blade is impeccable. You cannot possibly stand your ground against him for long. You cannot find even a single opening to strike back as Otton's fierce assault drives you towards the window. A commanding voice calls out from the other side of the office. Sir Otton, what do you think you're doing? For a moment, Otton stops. This is your chance. You prepare to strike him down as quickly as you can. But the commander of Magro notices your movement. He steps to the side and runs you through with his sword. A cold wave washes over you as the steel enters your body. You slowly collapse out on the marble floor, barely able to move. Otton stands tall over you, panting with rage. Sir Otton, what have you done? This is no honorable noble duel. It is a murder in the heart of the city capital. In front of the chairman of the court of honor, no less. I insist you leave Brante alone from now on. One death is enough for him. Having caught his breath, Otton slowly wipes his sword and sheathes it again. You forget yourself, El Vermin. You're as much a human as he. Still, what you say makes sense. This judge doesn't deserve my wrath, but he ever tries to tarnish the name of Otton again. You lie prone at the feet of your murderer, your hands clutching at the wound in your chest. A tiny speck of red on your white dress shirt. Black clouds your vision. Your final thoughts freeze and slowly disintegrate as you leave your dead body and head for the glimmering white high above. It's our second death within like 2 years, my god. You are surrounded by an immense gray void. There's nothing but shadows around you. The specters of your final decision. The spawn of your personal will. You see before you all your victories and defeats, all your errors and hopes. Another shadow comes to life by your side. As you gaze at these elusive moving silhouettes, you recognize your last action. This is the death you chose to face. Knowing what fate was meant to befall you, this is the decision you made. The shadows keep spinning and dancing around you. The footprints of every step you have taken since the day you were born. A colossal figure looms over them all. Your future, true death. You can no longer deny its imminence. It has always been there, waiting for you. Now you are only one step from it, but you will take this step yourself. The familiar, gigantic figures of the twin gods appear from the void to meet you. They effortlessly lift your tiny soul and hold it in their hands. You've always been in the twin gods' hands. Their will created you. The elder did not grant you his love. He forced it onto you. The younger shaped you according to the law without giving you a choice. An enormous whirlwind rises in the void. The twin gods release you into it, and the torrent of an unfathomable will whisks you away. You are merely a minuscule particle of this universal tide. This will is the sole determinant of all events, past, present, and future. Your puny actions and choices are nothing in the face of the torrent this harbors. You whirl in the cosmic vortex of the twin god's will until it casts you out. You careen back to your earthly life. It is only now that you regain your ability to act. You see all the wills of the universe, intertwined in a perpetual struggle against one another. Which will you follow? The will of the elder? Which means you follow the will of the God who brings love to the world? The will of the younger who imposes law upon the world? Earthly power, you abide by the worldly manifestation of the law and the wills of the authorities. Your blood tied, you obey the will of your ancestors and your family legacy. History has a will of its own. You must assume the position that was assigned to you by this will, or your own will. The only will you're willing to live by is your own. You feel an endless web formed by the wills of the mortal world. Now that you are free of the cosmic vortex, because we chose the will of the elder god, you can finally exert your own will and make a choice. It feels like a first gasp of air suffocated by an alien will. The will of the gods. But for your chosen will to be incarnate here in the world, one decision is not enough. You will have to follow this path to its conclusion, to turn this will into reality by the way of your decisions, deeds, and actions. Your eyes snap open, and you sit up abruptly. The crypt is spinning around you. The stagnant stench chokes you. You got out. You succeeded in preserving yourself against a whirlwind that was tearing you asunder. The will of the twin gods has commanded you to continue your existence. You feel the urge to fall flat on your back and cackle madly. You are back for your last life. You come to your senses atop the stone slab of your family crypt. For a while you do not move, slowly getting acquainted with your body born anew. Your mother's somber silhouette stands above you, bowed in prayer. You hear her quiet, meek voice just as you did as a child. "Oh, at last you're back with us, Parsons. My son, it pains me to watch you sacrifice yourself so, all for the sake of your trade and your honor. You have 4 lives in this world by the twins' grace, each a precious gift. You've cast away the lowly lot of suffering, so I beg you, do not seek it anew. Steer clear of pain and wounds and death." Your father appears in the doorway of the crypt. He comes closer and bows to you respectfully. "Son, the entire city is talking about you and your sword fight with Otton. Even the highest aristocracy believes the commander of Magra deserves all the blame for assaulting you without even challenging you to a duel. While you acted like a true nobleman and offended the honor of the Brante name, you suffered a lesser death through no fault of your own. You leave the family crypt with a heavy heart. You have resisted Otton. He will not be clashing with you directly anytime soon. But his sword will continue to loom over you until his case comes to a close. Died thrice. Dang. Oh, well, can't make a decision that leads to another death. Otton's case still looms over you, a burden and a threat. And as the strife between the estates grows more bitter, the judge's trade grows tougher by the day. The commoners demand more rights and legal protections. The nobles do their best to push back. As things stand right now, any verdict made in court may result in an upheaval in the province, and possibly determine the outcome of your case against Otton. One day, in the park by the Fallas estate, favored by dueling Andersot nobleman's honor, you see a curly-haired young man lying prone in the small, sunlit square. His body has been pierced by a sword, and is not vanished. A true death. You hear to investigate a report of an illegal duel. The winner is still here, a slender and middle-aged noble in an elegant black jacket, his hand still on the hilt of his sword, surrounded by gendarmes. Your orders, my honor. Sir Elcorvio will not submit on his own, and you wouldn't dare use force against him. You sign for the gendarmes to lower their weapons and approach the duelists. Elcorvio's eyes widen, and his face comes to life when he notices you. Before you can ask him, the noble begins to speak, far louder than necessary. It was a duel sanctioned by the Court of Honor, that is all. The late Sir L.S. questioned my loyalty to the Emperor and called me an apostate. He left me no other choice but to defend my honor, and now he's dead. Please, be quick with your verdict, Sir Judge. I'm expected at the capital. You do know who I am, don't you? Before you can say a single word, a carriage bearing the crest of Magistrate L. Vermin rolls through the gates. The magistrate furrows his silvery brow as he looks at the sorrowful scene, then gestures politely for Elcorvio to approach his carriage. With a chuckle, the duelist walks through the line of gendarmes and leans on the carriage. Meanwhile, the magistrate takes you aside for a moment. Brante, as you know, I am the chairman of the City Court of Honor. I refused to sanction this duel for as long as I could, since true death was on the line. But Alan Elcorvio insisted that denying him would spell trouble for the city of Andersot. Regrettably, he's a small, yet important person in the Emperor's court. He used to command the Emperor's personal guard. I realize that you must mete out justice as your duty demands. But remember, duels of honor are one of the cornerstones of imperial tradition, one of the pillars that support the twins' divine vision for the Empire. Well, we're going to pick the justice option. You have the authority to punish Elcorvio, but be careful. He might make a dangerous enemy, both for yourself and for the nobles of Andersot. That fool L.S. didn't know this. Now he's lying there before us. We'd be wise not to repeat his mistake. Oh my god. The magistrate of Andersot glances around, then continues in a hushed tone. Brante, the situation is far from ordinary. The fate of your city means anything to you. It'd be best to let Elcorvio go without a trial. Andersot doesn't need any trouble from the capital, and the L.S. are not as strong as they used to be. They'll get through it. You must find him if you wish. Elcorvio will pay it and move on, and justice will be done, at least to some extent. However, if you defuse the matter entirely, you are in favor with the aristocrats of Andersot, and I'll personally see to it you get a swift promotion. Deep in thought, you gaze upon the body of the dead duelist in the long shadow of Elcorvio. The decision you're about to make will influence all future duels in the province, as well as your own standing. We can fine Elcorvio. Diplomacy +1. Career. We can sentence Elcorvio to capital punishment. One of these must be true. Wow. We can legalize duels, that gives career +2, justice -3. Dang. Wow, you need. Or pronounce the court of honor illegal. We can't do that though. Why can't we do this one? Our fucking diplomacy is not 15. Are you fucking serious? Oh, we need the justice to be greater than equals 6 too. Well, we are going to sentence Elcorvio to capital punishment, I think, because we need the justice. Yeah, we need the justice. Fuck, I really wish I had fucking 15 diplomacy because apparently everything depends on 15 diplomacy. You shake your head dispassionately. Enunciating every word with perfect precision, you explain the situation to L. Vermin. A murder and a duel is still a murder, and the punishment for murder is execution. You do not have the right to distort the law. The magistrate's face falls in surprise. Brante, you don't seem to realize how the world works. I just told you Elcorvio plays an important role in the Emperor's court. Are you so eager to make enemies? Well, you're about to. No connections will protect you if you're so intent upon trampling upon ancient noble traditions. It seems Elverman isn't aware that you have friends in very high places, and you tell him in return. The Archduke's family will readily side with you. The magistrate dashes to El Corvio, fuming with rage at your words. Sir El Corvio, this is a terrible misunderstanding. I'll do everything I can to right this wrong. But these good sirs mean to have you arrested. You give the gendarmes a firm order. Seize the murderer's swords, shackle him, and take him to the prefecture. You dare call me a murderer? Doesn't anyone in this filthy, decrepit province know the meaning of a duel? El Corvio draws his sword and assumes a defensive stance, startling the gendarmes with such a fervent refusal to comply. You start giving orders to the gendarmes. Following your orders, they manage to surround and disarm El Corvio. You head for the prefecture to take care of the paperwork and send a message to Octavia. You ask your powerful benefactress to convince the aristocracy to side with you in ordering the death penalty for El Corvio. He's a complete outsider, Magra, you write, who happened to murder the heir to the ancient bloodline of El Est. Surely Octavia can aid her humble servant in such a trifling matter. Her reply takes almost no time to arrive. El Corvio is a staunch follower of the Tempest of the No Overseer. This puts him at great odds with my father. Removing him will be easy, especially if you have a proper case against him. Rest assured, Parsons, the Milnice dynasty will side with you on this trial. As for the other nobles, have no fear. I will let no harm come to you, my dearest human. El Corvio's trial comes and goes incredibly quickly. The seats in the courtroom are absolutely empty. No nobles risk appearing in defense of the visitor from Turna and attracting the displeasure of Archduke Melanitis. One by one, you present evidence of El Corvio's guilt. The ill-fated noble visitor coldly spits out threats in return. The Board of Justice, presided over by Elborn, makes its final judgment. Sending a noble to the hereafter is never easy, but there are times when the court has no other ways to instill respect for the imperial law among those of the noble estate. Sir El Corvio, we hereby sentence you to true death by decapitation. The sentence will be carried out in Majesty Square tomorrow. El Corvio is silent, completely unwilling to believe in what just happened. But the verdict has been made. El Corvio is taken to the dungeons, the shackles still on his wrists. Tomorrow the city of Anzo will, for the first time, witness a noble being executed for a duel. The aristocracy of Anzo is indignant over your decision. They fear what might come next. And yet, El Corvio's shameful end on the executioner's block goes unseemingly unnoticed in the capital. Soon, rumors begin to spread. Some say the beheaded nobleman was indeed a traitor to the crown. Why else would the emperor's court ignore the beheading entirely? Or was this all the handiwork of Archduke Milanitis himself? Soon after the execution, something appears at your door. A small yet hefty chest with a note attached. Sir Brante, we realize how difficult it must have been for you to deliver this strict yet righteous verdict. We mourn the loss of our son, who transgressed all the laws for beginning all duels. Yet justice has found his murderer thanks to you. Please accept this humble gift as a token of our gratitude. Sir Constance L. Eds and Lady Margaret L. Est. Oh, we're moving up in the world. Got a little will. Got a little bit more justice. We need to get that justice still up more, though. For definitely, so. The hunt for Tomas. The event is a concert. Tomas was not rescued. We could have rescued Tomas. You were shaving before going to work. You scoop some warm water from the wash basin. The morning light, reflected in the mirror, is absolutely blinding. A servant rushes in with an urgent note, or rather a crumpled note. He says it from a childhood friend of yours. You flinch involuntarily. A nasty cut appears on your cheek. Parsons, I'm in trouble. Otton knows that I've helped you. Now he's finally decided to get rid of me. His henchmen are on my trail already. They find me no matter how well I hide. I'm out of time, Brante. If you can, for the sake of our old friendship, help me out of this mess, somehow. Well, I can't do it if it's going to lead me to death. If Otton finds me, I'll be off the shining pillar. I'm out of lives. Your friend, Tomas. You crush the note in your hands. A drop of blood rushes down your cheek. Your old friend is in danger because he helped you with the case against Otton. If you don't interfere, Thomas Guerre is doomed. Don't get involved. Did we get a death from this? We get a death from this. We literally cannot. So we literally... I would rather not Tomas not die, but we literally cannot pick this one. Don't get involved. No. Fuck. Okay, we're gonna kill Ott. Crumpling the note in your hand, you pace the room and think. The hiding place you provided for Tomas proved to be insufficient. You have not been able to save him from Otton entirely. Well, you must do it now, but fighting Otton your own would be unwise. You need a more cunning plan. How could Otton's henchmen find Tomas's hiding place? Only through you, but they'll not be so foolish as to attack you, a prefecture judge. That means you have to get rid of them yourself. You get in the carriage and order the driver to take you to the prefecture. You find Captain Lanad. The commander of the gendarmes greets you like an old friend. Judge Brante, how can I be of service? With a mysterious air, you gesture for Lanad to come closer and inform him that an attack is planned against you tonight. Captain Lanad narrows his eyes, suspicious. Keep in order as a duty, Your Honor. My squad will defend you. You hint to Lanad that the situation is a little bit more complicated than that. The perpetrators might not attack you outright. They may just threaten you. But the gendarmes have a responsibility to prevent this as well, don't they? And afterwards, perhaps they can testify in court that the criminals were about to attack you. I see. You know, many citizens of Anazot live at the edge of poverty. Crime is on the rise, Your Honor. It's understandable. Even with a gendarme's wages, it's hard to get by. You understand what Lanad is implying, and you're sure that the efforts of the gendarmes will be properly rewarded. But after capturing the criminals, gendarmes also have to confirm the fact of the attack in the court. That night, you go for a walk around the city, purposely choosing empty side streets. Shadows follow you at a distance, gendarmes in civilian dress. Ominous silhouettes appear before you. You examine the faces hidden beneath their hoods. Their clothing is ostentatiously coarse, but their manners and speech betray them as servants from a noble household. Their leader speaks, asking if you're a friend of one Sir Tomas Guerrero. He says that they are friends too and wish to pay him a visit, but are having trouble finding him. Oh yeah. They're attacking the judge! Arrest him! In a blink of an eye, the gendarmes swoop in and round up Otton's henchmen. The blows from the gendarmes' clubs quickly beat any desire to resist out of them. They are put in wooden restraints and taken to the prefecture. Ned hands you some papers. Here are our statements, Your Honor. We're always happy to help. That same night, with a stroke of the pen, you send all 5 Otton servants to the gallows for attacking a nobleman and a judge. Fortunately, they're all low-born, so nobody will intercede on their behalf, not even Otton himself. The commander will be furious, but now we also have to find some new goons. At the very least, you have brought Tomas some time. You hurry to see your friend, but he's not in his hideout anymore. All you find is a note. Peasants, after you get rid of those thugs that decided to flee Anazot. Without a spies, Otton seems to have lost my trail. It's all thanks to you. I'm your eternal debt, Brante. I hope you take down that bastard and put an end to his crimes once and for all. We'll meet again. Your friend Tomas. Ooh. This is, oh my god, career less than or equal to 2. Shoots and ladders! Whoa! News of your latest action spreads rapidly across Anazot. You have made many enemies during your years as a judge, and now is your chance to strike. Your career is hanging by a thread. You have to fight off accusations, denouncements, and slander just to retain your position. A quick knock at the door interrupts your musings. The imposing figure of Judge Carlo Falkengraben solidly floats into your office. We hardly ever see each other these days, Brante. I've decided to pay you a visit, with the most cordial of intentions, of course. I've been hearing everywhere that things are not going well for you. So I asked myself the question, how could your man of your talents quarrel with almost all of Anazote High Society? I'm sure you're simply misguided, but worry not. I will show you the way. Many judges see you as a threat. They figure that your daring rulings are putting the entire prefecture in danger. Let's examine your last case, for instance. Its outcome enraged all the nobility of the city. But I know you aren't what they say you are. The other needs to see how much you care for your colleagues and your institution. Take my advice, Parsons. Don't forget it's a judge's duty to maintain law and order among the states, not destroy it. Admit your error and reconsider at least some of your past decisions in favor of the nobility. Do this, and I assure you, society will come to see you as a respectable nobleman and a wise judge once again. Do not emulate our prefect. You know that I hold Elborn in the highest esteem, but between you and me, he's on the edge of a precipice, and he's dragging you down with him. Promise me you think only about what I've said, Brante. I am concerned about your well-being. I care about the career of a promising judge like you. Falkengraben takes a bow and leaves as silently as he came. You reread your latest cases. Lost in thought, this is what turned high society against you. Your enemy schemes are preventing you from continuing work. You need to find a way out of the situation. Oh, ask a powerful benefactor. High place patrons. Continue the fight. Annul your decisions. Oh, justice -3. Ask your father for help. I think, yeah, this is obviously the decision I have to make. Career +2. Reputation -1. Diplomacy +1. We finally were freaking 15 diplomacy, because apparently that's a cutoff for literally everything. Yeah, we obviously cannot take justice -3. And we cannot go down to 0 career. Oh my gosh. Only if we had... Oh. You walk swiftly to your father's office. No matter what happens, he will always come to your aid. The conversation begins awkwardly. You tell him about your latest rulings, the enemies you have made, and the pressure from Falkengraben and those like him. Will he help you out of your difficulty? Having carefully listened to your account, father frowns. You are in dire straits indeed. You know that I am always by your side, but now you've gone too far. It's my fault too, Parsons. It's time we got you out of this mess. Our family has still managed to build a reputation over the past few years. I'll arrange meetings with some important noblemen and plead your case. Like predatory beasts, they will smell our vulnerability. As soon as you ask for a favor, you will become not only a debtor, but also a prospective victim. But we have no choice, otherwise you will lose your position as a judge. But promise me, son, that from now on you'll be more cautious and refrain from making more enemies from our family. You assure father that you do your utmost, then you awkwardly thank him for his help. He pats you on the shoulder in response and picks up his school pen. Letters, entreaties, and humiliating visits await him. So now we're back to 3. Costs us a little reputation. Gives us more diplomacy and gives us 15. Because apparently everything requires 15 in this game from now on. El Ferro's list. You spent day after day at work, toiling over Otton's case, but something far more urgent demands the prefecture's attention now. The city's in chaos. There's an explosion in the front of the city capital. Someone threw a bomb at Magistrate Remiel Varen's carriage. The assassination attempt failed. The magistrate was not inside the carriage at the time. He was unharmed, although his servants and driver did not fare so well. Even in your office, you can still smell the acrid smoke from the blast. The gendarmes reacted quickly. 5 suspects, craftsmen and factory workers, were brought to the prefecture before sunset. They are accused of joining the Last Straw, a secret society of insurgents seeking to overthrow imperial rule. This society is on its way to becoming the talk of the city. Rumor has its leaders an enigmatic woman, a tough criminal by the name of Sophia. The 5 suspects deny their involvement, but a number of eyewitnesses saw them walking towards the square, and some of them have traces of gunpowder on their fingers. Judge Carlo Falkengraben has taken the case. The trial will be mercifully swift. The 5 are to be hanged tomorrow morning. The sun begins to set. You're about to leave for home when you hear heavy footsteps in the hallway. A stranger enters your office. He's pale, with chiseled features, a furrowed brow, a thick black mustache, and dark eyes watching you intently from deep within their sockets. He presents you with a gilded pendant in the shape of a wheel. Baron Felipe El Ferro, Secret Chancellery Advisor. I imagine you're well aware that we deal with plots, schemes, and revolts against the Empire. I have a great matter of importance to Empire to discuss with you, Sir Brante. I am aware that the case of the explosion in the square was not assigned to you, but for our purposes, this is actually for the best. This secret chancery has been following this so-called last straw group for a long time now. They're the greatest threat to peace in Anzot, but you can help us rid the city of this menace. Baron El Ferro produces a neatly folded sheet of paper. This is a list of known insurgents connected to the last straw. They haven't blown anyone up just yet, but surely you realize that it would be most imprudent to wait for them to commit their next crime. The time to act is now. You scan the list quickly. Some of the names on it seem somewhat familiar, perhaps from your youth. Find a way, any way, to implicate them in today's assassination attempt, and you will prevent more explosions in the future. The Empire will rest easy if we find a way to rid ourselves of the scum as quickly as possible. If you render this service in Secret Chancellery, you may rely on my assistance in the future. As you may suspect, I have more than my fair share of powerful connections. I hate this decision because it's going to cost justice, but like, what they're doing, I would say, is wrong. Blowing and is trying to assassinate people, but at the same time, silence falls. The Secret Chancellery Advisor advises you with a heavy gaze. We can protect the people on the list, which gives justice +2, career -2, reputation -1, unity +1. We can conduct investigation, which is power -1, career +1, justice +1, wealth -1. Or we can obey the Secret Chancellery. You agree to sentence these people to death on false charges. Now 1. What happens if it goes down to 0? That's my main... Oh, that's not a big deal. Okay. That's not a big deal. Oh, why does this take wealth -1? Justice +2. I think this is the one I have to pick. I wish I could do this, but I cannot. I will conduct an investigation. It does come at a wealth, but... You rise from your chair, ready to answer the advisor. You cannot fulfill his order unless you have legal grounds for arresting and executing these people. You serve the law, and you will never break it, no matter what you must stand to gain. You will not falsify a case, and you will not hang people on unproven charges. You are willing to investigate the people from the advisor's list thoroughly and punish the guilty, but only if you find proof that they are involved in the insurgency. Baron El Ferro winces in displeasure at these words. Brante, can't you see we're not dealing with ordinary outlaws here? We're fighting an insurgency that has declared war on the Empire. This is no time for the usual formalities. You have to understand that. Thanks to your indecisiveness, these insurgents will roam free and fashion new bombs for more attacks. But you insist. You will not send anyone to the gallows without evidence. Either you do your things your way, or the aristocrats will soon be talking about the abuse of power at the hands of the Secret Chancellery. You will see to that. For a while, Felipe considers your words. Very well, Brante. Have it your way. Begin your investigation. But if another bomb goes off in Anzot in the meantime, it will be on your head. And then a promising servant in the Empire will stand trial along with the insurgents as their accomplice. I have a handful of good friends as well, Sir Judge. Felipe leaves without saying goodbye. And so you begin a lengthy investigation. This was your idea, which means you have to pay the gendarmes and informants out of your own pocket. The gendarmes in your employ tail every man and woman from the list for the next fortnight. For a long while, none of your suspects do anything suspicious. Over the course of these 2 weeks, you come to bitterly regret getting involved in this business, but Felipe left you no choice. You will either find the truth or get along, try along with the insurgents. Baron Elfer does not look like a man who makes empty threats. Disappointed with the fruitless surveillance, you're about to call it off when one of the commoners suddenly signals to the others to meet. You raid catches them by surprise in an abandoned house at the edge of the city. Much to your chagrin, the secret chancellor is right. You arrest them just as they're plotting another attack. A map of the city hall on the table, a stacked pile of weapons and bombs are found in the house. The litigation is quick. You have all the evidence you need against the insurgents. Every one of them is sentenced to death by hanging. Another last straw cell is no more. Their bodies now dangle in the wind by the still rotting rebels who tried to kill the magistrate. Well, we're one step from poverty. We're a fucking ringleader, dude. Ah! We're an invincible ringleader that still dies in freaking duels. Justice greater than or equal to 5. Friend of the people. Another day of work at the prefecture is winding down. After hours of paperwork, your fingers are cramped, your vision blurred. Today you must finish incorporating the new decrees of the Great Imperial Council into the Magran Code of Law. The document will be then sent to the overseer. A knock at the door distracts you. Your visitor is someone who you're not expecting to see. Mayor Egmont enters your office. He is the wealthiest man in Magra, the owner of the silver mines, and the leader of the wealthy Commoners Party in the Lesser Quorum. He wears a high-priced frock coat made of light gray fabric. He wears no jewelry, but his coat is richly embroidered. The most luxury a commoner can ever afford. Egmont offers you a broad, sun-tanned hand. It is hard, work-weary, and eternally callous. This is a man who has earned his fortune with the sweat of his brow. Good afternoon, Sir Judge Brante. We meet recently about the newspaper business, but today I need to discuss a different matter with you. That newspaper business a while ago. I came to talk to you on the behalf of the manufacturers of Magra. As you know, the principal source of income in the province is the silver mines. Our mines provide silver for the sacramental rites conducted in temples all over the empire. But the upper vein of ore is nearly exhausted. We need to process new deposits that are lower down. That's where our trouble with the law comes into play. In order to get to the deeper layers of ore, we need gunpowder, but a decree from the Great Imperial Council is forbidding common people from using it. Back in the capital, they're afraid it will turn that gunpowder into a weapon. But this restriction will harm not only the manufacturers of the miner, but the whole province as a whole. The silver trade will decline. We won't have enough money to buy a grain, and soon even the nobility will be impoverished. I know that you, the judges of the prefecture, are the ones who interpret the decrees from the capital, so I implore you, Sir Brante, to come to the aid of the honest tradesmen of Magra. Pass an amendment allowing the use of gunpowder in the silver mines. You give Egmont a speculative glance and ask him why he has asked you specifically for help. I've been following your decisions for quite some time, Your Honor. They give me hope. I don't agree with you on everything, but we seem eye to eye on the essentials. The common estate needs to get real rights. It's the only way for our province and for the empire as a whole. Sure, Prefect Elborn has proclaimed himself as much, but unfortunately he's a nobleman of the sword first and foremost. He's bound by the blood tide, by the power of the Overseer and the Arcanians. So all his undertakings are doomed to fail. If you, Sir Brante, truly care for the people, you need some powerful allies among the lowborn, allies like me. Do this for me, and together we'll change the fate of Magra. Egmont extends his hand, hope in his eyes. You take your time before answering, weighing his words carefully. Well, oh my gosh, that's a lot. I absolutely need to agree to this. Like, justice plus 2, wealth plus 1. This is a no-brainer decision. You take his hand. Egmont gives you a strong handshake. You tell him that you share his apprehension and understand that silver is crucial to the province. You promise to amend the law so that restrictions do not apply to silver mines. Thank you, Parsons Brante. Nobles who care about the needs of the common folk are few and far between. This is what nobility really means. I share your belief that only a union of these states will lead an empire to order and prosperity. You can count on my support. Silver is the lifeblood of Magra. Today you not only saved us all from ruin, you've also made every Magran a little bit richer, yourself included. I'll make sure the Brontes get a share of the profits. And I promise you, Brante, this gunpowder will shatter those ancient rock formations and reveal their hidden treasure to us all. We have made a deal for mining purposes, and we are not as close to being a barren land anymore, which is good, I would say. Commoners are protected. This is where we want to keep it. Not commoners seize power, but commoners are protected. And we have moderate means. Oh, we're not one step away from poverty. Egmont made a deal with you. You're helping him to legitimize use of gunpowder in the mines. Is that going to be the end of the year? No? Oh! The lesser evil. Is it? Oh my god, conditions met glorious secret plot. Oh my god. A year has passed since the day Gloria asked for your protection. You brought up her lowly position several times in conversations with Father, but every time his father face darkens he asks you to stop. You can feel Safan's influence behind these refusals. Your only option is to wait for something to change. Meanwhile, emotions are running high in the family. Gloria disappears for days at end. She is often seen in the company of young citizens of low estate. Father constantly lectures Gloria, telling that her and her friends are libertines and troublemakers, and connections like these will be her downfall. Your sister obediently lends an ear to his speeches, then vanishes again. You are relaxing in the bath after a long day when you suddenly hear rapid footsteps in the hallway and Stefan's angry voice. The door to the bathroom bursts open. I have to guess that getting her married was probably the more conventional nobleman's path and probably what I should have done. But we're here now, so we made a decision. Parsons, get dressed. We're waiting for you in the sitting room. It's urgent. Perplexed, you get out of the tub and make yourself presentable. Father and Stefan are waiting for you in the sitting room. Gloria is huddled in a chair in the corner. Your elder brother swiftly locks the door behind you. This bodes ill. So, I was on my way to a ball in the Elderberrius mansion. I was already on the doorstep when a servant told me they'd been ordered to turn me away. They will not have anything to do with a family who offering is a member of a secret society. Father, Parsons, who do you suppose they meant? Gloria looks at Stefan defiantly, her lips pursued tightly. This is the last straw. You'll make pariahs of all, Gloria, and I'll allow you to ruin everything Sir Gregor worked for. Stefan is nearly screaming. But then he pulls himself together and continues in a more composed manner. I'm afraid Lady Gloria cannot remain in this house. But, being honorable people, we must provide for her future. Sir Jose El Palantir is willing to take her on as his lawful wife. Gloria, you will be accepted into the household of nobles of the sword. I've been negotiating with your suitor for quite some time. Who gave you the right to decide my fate behind my back? You aren't even the head of this family. Gloria, you must abide by the decisions of your elders. This family has done so much for you already. Now I'm going to provide you with a good match. But you're acting like a spoiled child. You'll be a nobleman's wife, you fool. You'll be able to write your poems. You'll want for nothing. You'll be able to enjoy your life. Sir El Palantir's been hounding me for a year now. I can't believe he's in love with me, a lowly common girl. Sure, he's easy on the eyes. He's a skilled warrior and a respected nobleman. But he needs a wife to give birth to his heirs. Follow him around obediently at social gatherings and praise his chivalry. Can't you see that I don't belong in his family? Stuff and nonsense! Father, here is a letter to the El Palatirs. Sign it as the head of the family. We should invite our future relatives to our house and introduce them to Gloria's future husband and his parents. I hope that Parsons will do his part as well. Father reluctantly skims the letter and frowns. Stefan, why have you never spoken to me about a matter of such importance? No match can be made without my consent. Have I announced my wish for Gloria to be married? Father, she lives us no choice. You know that we cannot make Gloria Brante, but her family reputation still suffers because of rebellious ways. Don't you see that this marriage will benefit everyone? Gloria springs to her feet, choking with rage. You'll do anything to prevent me from joining this family. This marriage will bring nothing but sorrow to me and Sir Peltier. All you ever think about is your own interests. Ingrate! I'm looking out for you, and this is how you repay me. Would you prefer to be cast out for your disgraceful antics? Father, please sign the letter and free us from this debacle once and for all. Gloria rushes towards you in desperation and clasps your hand. Brother, please! You promised you never let them kick me out. We can put pressure on Father. Unity -2. Stefan Brante, bad blood. Challenge Stefan to a duel. Threaten Stefan. Or say nothing. Or... I kind of want the willpower, just... I don't feel like I could go back on my word. We're gonna challenge Stefan to a duel! You take a step towards Stefan, shielding Gloria from him, and look your adversary right in the eye. Stefan has no authority to fight Gloria's fate as though she were his property. You will not let anyone order your sister around. You should have become a Brante long ago. I hold myself responsible for our family's good name. But you, Parsons, you wormed your way into nobility. We have no idea what nobility means. You're a living proof that noblemen are born, not made. Oh, fuck you, Stefan. Father intervenes vehemently. Parsons is right, Stefan. You've gone too far. This isn't nobility, it's obsession. It's time you remember them, the head of this household. You are not Gregor Brante, and you will never be. He takes the letters to the groom's family and tears it to shreds. Stefan's face grows crimson. He can barely contain his rage. If you cannot keep the family in check or defend our honor, Father, then I'll have to do it myself. Stefan's words send you into a long, vehement speech. How dare he? Father's dedicated his entire life to his family. Only he knows what is best for it. You're right, Parsons. My fear of your grandfather was too strong. But these days are over. Gloria is Lydia's daughter, the daughter of my wife, and she's my daughter as well. Gloria is shaking now. She cannot believe her ears. Father, what are you saying? Come to your senses. Your dishonor will ruin our entire family. Father does not dignify Stefan's words with a response. His eyes are solely fixed on Gloria. Dishonor does not frighten me. Gossip does not frighten me. Come to me, my daughter, Gloria Brante. Gloria falls on her adopted father's shoulder, racked by silent tears. Father. You join the embrace. Gloria squeezes your hand with hers, sister's eyes glimmering with joy and gratitude. Furious, Stefan tears you away from one another. No! As long as I live, this will never be! Stefan has left you no choice. Gloria's a Brante now, and you will protect her by any means necessary. If your brother won't listen to words, then your blades will do the talking. You challenge your other brother to a duel. Father and Gloria are speechless. Even Stefan is stunned at first, but quickly regains his composure. Sir Parsons Brante, I shall accept your challenge. We shall duel to the true death. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to kill Stefan. Father intervenes. His shock gives way to fury. This is madness, my sons. Fighting to the death? Never. Stefan moves away. If I kill him, I become the heir, though. Stefan moves away from father, cold and indifferent. The honor of this family is at stake. I see no one is willing to relent. Why continue this dispute? We must settle this once and for all. I forbid it, as your father and as a prefecture judge. Calm yourself, father. My honor is mine alone. You have no right to claim it, brother. We shall duel tomorrow at sunrise in the barren field by the city wall. Be ready. With a sharp turn, Stefan strides out of the room, perfectly composed. Father grows pale. He collapses in his armchair and buries his face in his arms. Gloria rushes to your sides. Parsons, what have you done? I asked you to protect me. I didn't ask for this. You're fools, both of you. Can't you resolve this without spilling blood and taking lives? You shake your head. Head slowly. Not in this case, you can't. It's time to prepare for the duel. Only one of you is coming back. She's now a Brante. You and Stefan are going to duel. Duel. It's time for the duel. I feel like this is going to be another... This is a result of your previous decision. Duel! Why can't we just play cards, my dude? To the death. It is early in the morning, and dreadfully windy. It's a barren field by the city wall. Two lonely figures approach each other. You and Stefan face each other, swords at the ready. Stefan glares at you. There's sadness in his eyes. Quite the twist of fate. It seems I have learned defense only to fight my own little brother. Huh. Remember how you hit me in the head with a stick when we were boys? And your mother scolded you for brandishing a weapon? Who knew? It was all leading to this. You regret what is about to happen, you reply. But this is the only way your conflict can be resolved. Stefan nods gloomily. Childhood memories cloud your faces. Playing, fighting, pretending defense. It takes you both an effort to remain in the present. The cloaks come off. Ceremonious bows are exchanged. You both sense the shades of your Brante ancestors watching you. A sacred ritual is underway. For a nobleman, there is no higher judgment. Your duel to the true death begins. Your elder brother wastes no time opening with a flurry of strikes. His skill and mastery is truly commendable. You dodge, parry, and block, but Stefan keeps driving you back. The morning air is cool, yet your dress shirt is already soaked with sweat. The tip of his blade slashes and weaves through the air, almost invisible to the eye. Stefan is wearing you down. You cannot last like this for long. Sweat is streaming down your forehead now. Your tired muscles ache and seize. Your brother's first blow lands. A glancing cut. A blood-red line on your sleeve. You grit your teeth. You began studying swordplay too late, brother! You've only been defending so far, but now you notice that Stefan is growing exhausted himself. When the time is right, you go on the counterattack. And now you are the one showering him with a flurry of blows. Your elder brother is stepping back, unsurprised by your onslaught. By the way, I'm going to be very pissed if I'm dead when I have fucking 20 valor. A jab, another. You take another swing with your trusty blade. Ha! Stefan deflects your blow with an artful feint and moves swiftly aside. Your foe is on your left now. You are defenseless. Stefan blade rises. You have one moment to act before he does. Your life and your brother's are hanging by a thread. perish, overcome death? You muster all your strength to parry Stefan and save your life. Well, what's the difference between this and this? Oh, it costs minus 20 fucking willpower. Wait, but you get what? You get 1 valor. Resort to dirty tricks. I don't have enough Stefan. What? Why does resorting to dirty tricks require Stefan to like me? Well, or I could just die. Well, we have to parry. This is literally our only choice. So, we're going to have 0 willpower and our family's not going to be good. Valor greater than or equal to 18. Well, so you could get to the spot and just die, because you could not have high enough. Oh, I see why they did. Valor is higher than 15, but less than 18. So basically, if you don't have 15 Valor, and Stefan doesn't like you enough, you're dead. The sword swishes through the air. But your hands act faster than you think. You turn around just in time. In a flash, your brother's blade recoils, deflected. Stefan barely stifles a gasp of surprise. How the... Stefan is the one who's defenseless now. You waste no time retaliating. The blow hits home. Your sword runs through your brother's chest. Stefan staggers backwards, a look of surprise on his face. A strange gurgling noise comes out of his throat as he falls to his knees. His eyes grow dim now. The tiniest red dot blots his dress shirt. Stefan's lips move. His voice is less than a whisper. You lean close to him. You win a noble victory. Proud of you, brother. A faint smile glimmers on his lips as his face loses all color. You listen, but there are no more words now. Only his breathing, weak and hoarse. Stefan falls prone on the cold, hard ground, coughing up blood, convulsing, shaking. Then at last he grows still. Stefan Brante, your elder brother, has died his true death in your arms. You take Stefan's lifeless body home. He will rest in the family crypt now. Stefan's soul will join your family's blood tide, an unseen specter watching over you all. The home is quiet. Silent rings in your ears. Father awaits you at the door, his face a frozen mass of grief and pain. So, you are the one who has returned. I have no words, Parsons. A long moment passes before Father speaks again. If only I knew your quarrel would cost me one of my sons. Oh, I should have arrested you for an attempted duel. But Stefan would never have allowed that. Twins, damn it! Father collapses in an armchair, hiding his face in his hands. It takes some time before he has enough strength to speak again. But there's nothing that can be done now. The judgment of noble honor has been rendered. We must accept this loss. I have lost my firstborn son, my heir. Very well, Parsons. You are now the family's eldest son and the heir of the Brante family. Remember this. You are now responsible for the fate of this family, or what's left of it. You withdraw to your room, wash the blood off your shoulder, and collapse on your bed. You are overwhelmed by memories. You remember your brother leading you by the hand through the yard. You remember sitting on the big table on the porch, poking each other in the arm. You remember marching through the streets of Anazot at night looking for Gloria. You remember Stefan embracing you tightly when he returned from the capital. Soon you see Stefan for the last time at his funeral. Your other brother's body is now gone forever, reposing in the depths of the crypt. Did he reach the peak of the shining pillar, or was he doomed to suffer at the foot for all eternity? Your family is quiet. They will not meet your eyes. Stefan fought you to duel the true death and perish by your hand. Big rip, dude. But we are now the heir. Now there's quarrels and feuds. Not great. But now we are the heir, which I think. Oh, we had 0 willpower. Not a huge fan of that one. Stefan died by your hand in a duel. end of chapter now, I would assume? Yes. Year 1144. Only 2 years left of peacetime. Oh my god, well, the decisions keep ramping up. Oh, we could have... Man, this game would have been completely different if I just accepted Stefan's plot and went along with it. But I couldn't do that to Gloria. I couldn't, I made a promise to my mother at the beginning. Then I made a promise to Gloria. I couldn't just stand back and do nothing. That wouldn't be right. I couldn't live that big of a contradiction. We all live, like the game says, a lot of contradictions. But that one would be too great for my soul to bear. So, as always, let me know what you think of my decision down in the comments. 0 willpower, 7 justice now. We went from like 3 or 4 justice last episode to 7, so that's very, very nice. We want to stay around this, because I'd rather not give the ending where the commoners just overtake with the Knight of the Serpents. We need 7 or 8, I believe, for the Otton ending. So, well, that's all for now. See ya, everyone.